everyone, I'm Cheryl Butler, and you're listening to the Mighty Mommy's Quick and Dirty Tips podcast, which will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. Welcome. Today, I'm very excited to have a special guest on the Mighty Mommy podcast, child care expert and CEO of Educated Nannies, Ryan Jordan. Ryan Jordan has over 20 years of experience working with children and families as a teacher, nanny, and a tutor. Ryan earned a multiple subject teaching credential and Master of Arts in Education from Pepperdine University. In addition to teaching, Ryan spent more than 6 years as a full-time professional nanny for celebrities and high-profile families in Los Angeles. Known as the Educated Nanny, Ryan combined all of her talents to create the nanny referral agency, Educated Nannies. In addition to guiding families in finding their perfect nanny match, Ryan continues to work with parents to customize educational plans for their children. Wow! I get lots of emails from listeners, Ryan, who are looking for more information on this topic, so it is such a treat to have you join me today. Welcome.
Hi, Cheryl. Thanks for having me today. This is quite an afternoon treat for me.
Oh, great. Well, listen, I have several questions that the Mighty Mommy listeners would love some more info on. So let's get started.
Okay.
What is the difference between a nanny and a babysitter, and how can parents determine which one they really need?
This is an excellent question and the most common question that I receive as well. So the difference between a nanny and a babysitter comes down to a couple key factors. First of all, we want to look at a schedule, the amount of experience, their education, their job duties, and their career goals. So for example, a professional nanny will work in your home either part-time or full-time hours, which is 40 hours a week, where a babysitter usually comes in for 2 or 3 hours for a date night or a quick event for the family. Many times professional nannies have at least 5 years of childcare experience, and they'll be certified in first aid and CPR. And many times they hold a college degree, which is one of the things we require at our agency. Now, a babysitter is normally somebody in high school, or they could still be in college. Maybe they have some summer experience or after school experience, or maybe they just worked on-call babysitting on temp nights. And then we want to take a look at the job duties. Professional nannies are responsible for all things child-related. They provide a safe and secure and engaging environment. They're driving children to activities. They're scheduling activities. They're organizing the nursery. They may be taking the children to doctor's appointments. They could be traveling with the family, helping with homework. They're, an extension of the family. And normally a babysitter may include preparing a quick dinner, a couple activities, and maybe bath and bedtime. And then most times the professional nanny's goal is to be a long-term career nanny, where a babysitter is usually, this job could be a means to an end or, extra money to pay for their college. It's not really their means to an end job.
Okay, great. What should families consider when they're hiring a nanny?
When families are considering hiring a nanny, I think they should call a family meeting. I think it's really important to talk to your children if they're able to talk, and find out what would make a nanny special to them. I think that's really important to include the children and what would make them happy and what they picture their nanny as. Once you've talked to your children or you've talked to everyone that will be involved in the hiring process, you want to take a look at your budget. You want to make sure that your budget will accommodate for a nanny that you need, where sometimes we have to consider different laws. There are laws now that state that a nanny that works any hours over 45 hours a week must be paid time and a half. So we really want to take a look at that and make sure that the nanny fits inside your budget. And then we want to take a look at your needs. The nanny's strengths should match your needs. So if it's important that your nanny has a college degree or a teaching background or 5 years of experience with an infant and active lifestyle, take a real look. Maybe you want a nanny who's vegan. That makes sense for the culture of your family. And then the last thing we want to do is we want to take a look at the big picture. Do you have pets? Do you need a nanny who's able to travel domestically and internationally? Do you have, are you going to need a nanny for 1 year, or are you looking for a nanny to stay 5 years? So I think it's overall taking a look at what you desire.
Okay, wonderful. What are some red flags that a family might pick up on during the interview process?
Cheryl, I have to say this actually starts before the interview process. So some of the red flags that I tell families to look for is their style of communication. A professional nanny or babysitter will not have grammatical emails, errors in their emails. They will have a resume that looks professional. They will use a communication style with greetings and endings. They won't just be texting with a bunch of errors. And then during the interview, does the nanny arrive on time? If she's late, that's a red flag. Is she dressed appropriately? Can you picture her, getting down on that ground and playing with your children? Does she have references that you can talk to? This is extremely important. You want to make sure that you verify those references. Does she make eye contact while speaking with you and speak in an honest tone? And then here's something that a lot of families don't think about, but if a nanny has been searching for a job for more than 6 weeks, that tells me she's a red flag. Any great nanny I know that is looking for a new job will get scooped up in the first 2 to 4 weeks. And then overall, when you're asking her about activities that she can do with your child, see if they pique your interest. If she's got a creative imagination, and if your children are there, see how she engages with your children. And the number one most important thing to look at is chemistry. Could you sit down and have a cup of coffee with your nanny? Would you want to travel with her? Do you feel like, gosh, this person could be my friend with professional boundaries? Or am I not feeling this at all and I feel uncomfortable around the nanny? Then that's a red flag too.
Super. How can families ensure that they have the same expectations as their nanny? For instance, for disciplining, the treats that they hand out, different parenting methods just from the get-go.
Setting clear expectations from the beginning is extremely important. And that starts with open communication. I think it's important for the family to talk about their childcare philosophy, their styles of discipline, the best communication methods. Some families don't want to talk on the phone. They prefer to communicate through text. They prefer to communicate via email. And number one, set up a contract. List the days and times and hours the nanny will work, the job duties, what's required if the nanny will be driving her own vehicle. Also, too, if you're offering any benefits such as paid time off or paid sick days, vacation pay, that should be all in a contract so that if anybody has any questions, it'll lead for little miscommunication. You always have a reference then to go back to.
Okay, great. Is there anything that you wish parents knew or understood about the role of nannies?
Yes, I think a lot of times nannies aren't viewed as professionals. And I was actually a professional nanny, and all of the nannies that I work with are professionals. We are raising your children, and this is a professional career, which means we needed to be treated like professionals. Obviously, the relationship is, on an intimate professional level as we're working in somebody's home, but the nanny should have the same benefits that any other professional should have, such as paid time off and vacation and possibly medical benefits if the family can afford it. And also that nannies are very capable, that nannies don't just care for children. They can do personal assistant duties. They can do children's laundry. They're happy to help out. They're very flexible, and that, nannies are in love with what they do and passionate about childcare.
Wow, this is such great information. My last question for you is, what do you find to be the most challenging and rewarding part of working with children?
Let's see. Well, the most challenging part, I think, happens in the beginning, and that's the getting to know you period. You want to establish trust with the children, and maybe they've never had anybody care for them except for family. Maybe they've had a nanny for 6 years that they absolutely loved, but the family circumstances changed and you came in and you're the new nanny. So I think the most challenging part is just building that rapport. And then the most rewarding part comes right after. Right when you build that rapport, you're going to witness the growth, the transitions, the aha moments when they discover something new. It's such a beautiful bond. I mean, the children that I cared for, I asked them to be in my wedding. It is such a beautiful, growing relationship, and that's how it should be.
Oh, my goodness, that is great. Ryan, thank you so much for joining me today on the Mighty Mommy podcast. If you'd like more information, you can visit educatednannies.com or you can follow them on Instagram at Educated Nannies.
Thank you so much, Cheryl.
So what experience do you have with a nanny in your household? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page, or you can email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com. Also visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mightymommyqdt, and be sure to sign up for the upcoming Mighty Mommy newsletter, which is going to be chock full of practical advice to make your parenting life easier and more enjoyable. Thanks for listening, and until next time, happy parenting!